there are people on the planet who identify as car people, and then there are people who don't realize that they're car people. And a car like this makes everybody realize that they're a car person. This is a car with less than 3,000 kilometers from new. This is as close as we can get today to driving a brand new 904. We're here today to celebrate one of the most extraordinary additions to the Audrain collections, which is the collection of Nicholas Begovich, and specifically the Porsche 904 Carrera GTS, which he bought new and which is now part of the Audrain collections. The Audrain Automobile Museum was founded in 2014 by three partners who were car enthusiasts. They established the museum as a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, and the displays draw from the Audrain collections, which consists of about 350 cars and about 76 motorcycles, or vehicles that are loaned to us by collectors and other institutions that fill out the stories we want to tell in an exhibition. The saddest thing is that a car should be locked away in a dark room and never seen again. Anyone can afford to buy the Mona Lisa and lock it in a vault. But the fact that it's on display in Paris is what makes it the icon it is. So we want to make sure that we bring all of these great automotive icons to the world. This car was one of the 14 cars which we acquired at the Audrain collections from California State University at Fullerton. And we were told about these cars by our good friend Jay Leno, because in thinking about our mission here at the Audrain to preserve, celebrate, and share automotive history, the idea of keeping this collection together was very appealing. Nick Begovich was the kind of person who did not buy a car because somebody told him he should buy it. He bought it because the car spoke to him. He also caught the Porsche bug fairly early, and when the opportunity came for him to buy a 904, he leapt at the chance. He traveled to Stuttgart, ordered the car, picked it up at the factory, and had it flown back to the US. There's a wonderful photograph of him standing next to the car as it's just been offloaded from the TWA jet transport from Europe. And it is clear that he absolutely loved this car. I did never get to meet the man, but I know looking at his other cars, looking at his writings, having seen his workshop, which was incredibly well equipped, he always tinkered with his cars. I mean, he was a brilliant engineer. And so he always looked to do maintenance, looking at the file for this Porsche, which he drove less than 3,000 kilometers from new. He had extensive correspondence with the factory. The Porsche 904 GTS is, for me personally, one of the most spectacular sports racing cars ever. First and foremost, it's one of the last of the age of the cars that you could actually drive to the track, race, and drive back home. The 904 Carrera GTS is an incredibly fluid design. It's one of those designs, and again, this is very typical of designs of the 1960s, especially in sports racing cars, where every surface is moving at all times. Whether it's the windshield, totally curving at every moment, the fenders, the way they rise and fall, the curve of the body, even though there's a very sharp character line in the middle of the body, it still curves to that character line, and then the flat panel below it just reflects the curvature above. It's an amazing shape, and it's thoroughly functional. You'd have to get going really, really fast in order to defeat the aerodynamics that are present in this car, and it looks as good as it performs, and that's also a very rare thing. Can you quibble about some things? Yes, perhaps the side windows are a little too short for the design, and certainly when you're driving the car, it would be nicer to have slightly taller windows to let more air into the car, but nonetheless, it still works. The flying buttresses, of course, which were copied on many cars, also had the practical application of helping airflow while also allowing a window that was totally vertical, which would stay clean in inclement weather and allow for the engine cooling vent in its place. So again, it was very carefully and logically laid out, I think, in a way that is both aesthetically pleasing and functionally effective. This 904 is literally like Tutankhamun's tomb. It is the ability for us to look at this car, This is the way these panels were put together. This is the material of the upholstery. This is the plastic of the floor covering. This is the toolkit with every original specialized tool for this car, down to the tire pressure gauge, which they fitted in the Carreras of the period. So we are able to look back in time as if we have a time machine. We don't have to look at it through the filter of changes and adaptations and use and abuse and wear. And it's an opportunity that almost never happens. And it is so incredibly exciting. And to be able to do all this in a car you can actually drive is astonishing. I like to judge cars and the enjoyment I get out of them by sort of the smile pain factor. When I get behind the wheel of a car that I really love, I just start to smile. It makes me smile. It's involuntary. And by the end of a drive, your cheeks hurt. My cheeks hurt from smiling so much. And that's the feeling I get from this car. Literally, you close the door, the anticipation begins, you turn the key, the engine starts up, and you know you're going to have a special experience. And grabbing that wonderful wood-rimmed wheel, and there's nothing like a nice, thin-rimmed, wood-rimmed wheel that's of a certain size, that you just know that whenever you move the wheel, the car's going to follow you exactly. And that's the experience you have with this car. You drive, it's very eager. It's not a very fussy car, but it doesn't like to sit in traffic. But, what thoroughbred likes to sort of canter around a yard? It wants to run. And that's what this car does. But yet it's really easy. The turnover on the throttle is very, very linear. You press the throttle pedal and it's heavy, but you just feel it go, and you just ease on the power and it just goes. It's just absolutely astonishing. And you just want to drive it faster and faster and longer and longer. It's a wonderful car. This is a car, because of its innate build quality, because of the way it was maintained, it was literally a new car waiting to be serviced and brought back to the road. And that was something that really just filled me with such incredible emotion, because to have the opportunity to live in history through driving a car is an opportunity that very few people have. And I feel incredibly grateful to have had this opportunity to be able to share what this opportunity is like with as many people as possible, and to be one of the custodians here of a car which can serve as a reference point to every other 904 on the planet and to so many cars of this period. And that's a really special thing that I could not have anticipated before I took my first drive in the car.